An officer in Florida takes a bullet in the line of duty.
He reacted exactly as he was trained.
The suspected shooter, just 13 years old. An update this morning on the border crisis.
Our plan will deliver results.
One day after a major law expires. Nothing is stopping one girl dad from seeing his daughter's recital. Not even a cancer diagnosis. And a search robot in a Florida sewer makes a scary discovery. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello South Florida, I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
I'm Halwa Ezel. Today is Friday, May 12th, 2023.
Live from the FIU Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
A teen suspect accused of shooting an officer in Florida. The officer's injury was to his foot, but it's the age of the suspect, just 13, that is making headlines this morning.
The shooting was Friday in Lakeland. Officer Jamie Smith stopped a car that was suspected to be involved in an earlier shooting. The driver sped away while the officer pursued, and a chase ended up in foot. The suspect ran off the vehicle, and a 13-year-old allegedly shot Officer Smith.
But I can't be more complimentary of the way the officer reacted last night. He reacted exactly as he was trained, just as we know that the sheriff's office would react, the deputies would react the same way, like a police officer, and particularly Officer Smith reacted that way last night.
Officer Smith was hospitalized and is expected to make a full recovery.
A community in Jacksonville is in mourning today after a voluntary soldier died in the Ukraine war. Motivated by his Ukrainian heritage, Edward Wilton III enlisted to battle until last month when Russian forces killed him. Family and friends of the 22-year-old laid him to rest at an emotional funeral yesterday morning. Even Ukrainian families who didn't know Wilton stopped by to pay final respects, calling Wilton a hero.
The COVID-era border law Title 42 expired early this morning. As CNN's Gloria Pazmino reports, thousands of migrants gathered at the U.S.-Mexico border trying to figure out what's next.
We prepared for this moment for almost 2 years, and our plan will deliver results.
As Title 42 ends, the Department of Homeland Security is sounding confident about the policy shift. As thousands of migrants desperate to cross to the U.S. gather at the border before a new policy kicks in. Dioselina Querales, a migrant from Venezuela, made it across to Texas, but her daughter and grandson were detained and sent to Mexico. She says she's praying so they can be reunited to seek asylum in the U.S.
It's tough. It's very tough. And that's why we came here, because we can survive here.
Title 42 had allowed authorities to turn away migrants like her at the U.S.-Mexico border and denied them a chance to claim asylum. With Title 42 expiring, the U.S. reverts back to using the decades-old Title 8. Meaning detained migrants face a more severe deportation process, a ban on re-entry for at least 5 years, and they can face criminal prosecution if they attempt to cross again. Migrants say conditions in their home countries gave them no option but to risk everything to make it across to the U.S. Ahead of this policy change, resources at the border communities have been strained.
We are clear-eyed about the challenges we are likely to face in the days and weeks ahead, and we are ready to meet them.
In El Paso, Texas, I'm Gloria Pazmino reporting.
There's detention for migrants who cross the border and turn themselves in, but space is limited. There are already 26,000 migrants in the custody of Border Patrol.
Governor Ron DeSantis signed into law a bill that will keep his travel records secret from the public. This new measure will prevent law enforcement agencies from disclosing any of the governor's past or future travel records. It will also prevent the disclosure of records from people whose services are requested by the governor's office. According to Florida Republicans, this new measure is necessary to prevent possible plots to attack DeSantis. A new law will prevent schools and businesses in Florida from requiring masks and vaccinations against COVID-19. This bill, signed into law by Governor Ron DeSantis on Thursday, will make these measures permanent in the state. The measures come into law just after the Biden administration decided to end COVID vaccine requirements for international travelers and federal workers.
This morning, we are 12 days into Mental Health Awareness Month. The National Institute of Health estimates 1 in 5 adults live with mental illness in the U.S. Health experts say now is a good time to prioritize self-care and take time to recharge. Psychiatrists recommend 3 types of self-care that can help your mental well-being.
It's often the last thing we think about, but taking care of ourselves, focusing on our mental well-being, is a critical part of our overall health.
We kind of tack it on at the end of the day, or it's just one more thing to do. But self-care is really important.
Psychiatrist Jennifer Sumarriga with El Camino Health near San Francisco says there are many types of self-care, but she asks her patients to focus on 3 of them. First, physical. That means getting exercise and an adequate amount of sleep, as well as eating right.
Research shows that getting regular meals that are balanced and good, and even some fun foods, enjoying those, that's really very important, as well as hydrating.
Next, the emotional aspect of self-care. That's being mindful, maybe meditating, or doing breathing techniques or journaling. But she says it's also about practicing positivity.
I always want to talk about really practicing gratitude and reminding ourselves of the things that we are grateful for that we have in our lives.
Finally, the social aspect of mental health. When the world shut down during the pandemic, many became isolated. Dr. Sumarriga says it's critical to have relationships with others.
Really reaching out to family members and friends and really trying to build those friendships and get support from other people is going to be very important for us and our mental health and self-care.
The psychiatrist says some of these self-care techniques won't work on everyone. That's why she says it's important to keep trying different ways to take care of yourselves. Find ones that work for you and stick to those.
Dolphins fans are excited this morning with last night's release of the team's full 2023 schedule. They open the season in LA to face the Chargers. The first home game is in September 24th against the Broncos. You can find the full schedule on the Dolphins website. The other big sports story today is 2 playoff elimination games. The Panthers are on the road in Toronto, hoping to close out the Leafs. That game starts at 7 on TNT. The Heat is at home to try and close out the Knicks. That game starts at 7:30 on ESPN.
A camera is rolling as a search robot comes face to face with an alligator in a Florida neighborhood.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
Dance is my daughter's happy place.
After his cancer diagnosis, one father started to worry that he wouldn't be able to watch his daughter's dance recital. Then his community started to take action. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
and even though we're overcoming obstacles, watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other.
On a deeper level.
Father,
Cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
it's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward. Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
There's no way one tiny dancer was going to let her dad's cancer diagnosis rob him of the opportunity to see her recital. The little girl's family is cherishing her recent dance recital more than most because it's probably the last one her father will ever see.
As KCRG's Emily Schraub reports, the studio near Grand Rapids, Iowa held the recital early because he's dying of cancer.
Steven Stepanek was diagnosed with glioblastoma in August of 2022.
Fighting brain cancer is it's so hard, and you can't do it alone. And every patient and family going through this need the community behind them.
He's had surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy. 7 months after his initial diagnosis in March, the family was told Steven's cancer was recurrent, and his treatments to slow the cancer weren't working. Now, they say they're making the most of the time they have together. Steven's 6-year-old daughter, Sylvia, dances at the Dancer's Edge in Hiawatha.
Dance is my daughter's happy place, and so for them to get behind her and our family just means so much because we know that they're going to be there for her every step of the way through our fight now and for the rest of her career with them. And this is why we do dance, because it gives her an outlet.
Their annual recital typically takes place in June, but with the uncertainty that comes with a cancer diagnosis, the dance studio helped make sure Steven got the chance to see his daughter take the stage with a mini recital.
Tonight's just an example of gifts that they've given us, memories that we can keep forever. And so we're so thankful that all of these people have gone out of their way just to do one more act for us to make sure that we have a moment that we can keep.
But to be able to give this opportunity when he's well enough to come out and sit in the chair and watch his daughter with a smile on her face in her costume, whether it be on a stage or here in the dance room, we're just happy to provide the opportunity.
While emotions were running high during the performance, one in particular stuck out to the Stepanek family.
Watching Sylvia dance tonight and also watching Steven's reaction is really surreal because, you know, I fear that we may not get those moments in the future, and it's just, I'm so happy we made that happen tonight.
That was KCRG's Emily Schrad. Steven's team is planning a second surgery for later this month.
Investigating a series of street potholes turns into an unexpected underground alligator chase. Officials in Oviedo, Florida send a robot into the sewers, looking into a situation they had with potholes, and found a 5-foot alligator. With no other direction to go, the robot had to keep moving forward, chasing the baby gator. Both the robot and the alligator were safe and unharmed. You're watching SFMN Newsbreak. We'll be right back.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Bill is a family man. He invests his money wisely and provides a good life for his children. Just one problem. He often opens emails from senders he doesn't know, and his computer is not password protected. One day, Bill checked his bank account and 94% of malware attacks originate from emails. Don't be like Bill. Take your cybersecurity seriously.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
I'm Hawa Ezel. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.